Hey Johnny, so I think the iron swing looks great. Um, Driver swing, we've got, and you probably figure out you've got some more speed in there somewhere. So here's kind of what I see, and we touched on this stuff before, but I think you're going to get a little more vertical force out of this if the left knee is more underneath the left hip when you want to push up. So I think what happens is the rotation of the upper left leg is a little slow, and the lateral movement gets to be just a touch too much, so the left knee stays bent and out from under the hip, so you're not really in a position to fully push up off the back of the using the muscles in the back of the left knee to straighten the leg. So I'll show you what I mean. So good move in the back. So right here is where we're gonna focus, is what's gonna happen in here. When you look at the force into the ground, I think what we want to feel in this area right here is a little more twisting inward with the right, and with the left we've got to feel like all the muscles in here are trying to rotate the force in the foot over toward the back two-thirds of the foot, and then get this knee to rotate quicker back behind you so that it doesn't slide forward quite as much. So I wouldn't say that this is necessarily too much total lateral, but when we look at it from here, so as the club goes from P3 to 4, you're going to see a slight movement out to the right. So if you watch here, so it's very important to watch the tip of your right knee here. So you see that movement. So with the right, the force is going more lateral sideways, so my suggestion was to get this to feel like it's twisting a little more back, and we need to get a more immediate sense of the left knee. See how it's kind of hanging around out here? So it just takes the left knee too long to remove itself. So when you start down and the right leg pushes forward but the knee flexes out toward the ball, both knees now are, you can see them. It's not as bad as it used to be, it's getting better, but both knees are still flexing, adding flexion and moving a little bit forward. Okay, so by the time now you'll see players, I'll show you a couple guys whose knees don't disappear as fast as some other guys. But this is a little bit, again, too slow, and your knee is still out from under you. So this is not putting your left leg in a position from 6 to 7 to push up, because you're not back underneath. That left knee is not underneath your hip enough. It's too forward, so it can't really drive as hard up as you would like. So let me show you a couple examples. Here's the picture of Sergio hitting a 3-wood. So as he gets into transition, if we watch here, the left knee is going to remove itself a little quicker. Now, there he is, right? You can see the knees squaring up, pretty close to where you were. But watch what happens now with the leg. So what you're looking at, what you're watching for, is the left leg. So he's just catching it right there. So you see how much of the left leg you can see under the right there. So what I would think about is, when you are coming from the top, I would think about, how do we create more angle across the knee line this way? So thinking less of how much your pelvis is going to be open, which is also super important, and of course, you know, the femur is rotating, but there's all joints, you know, here, and there's joints up here. So these things can move at different rates depending on the pressures you put on the joint. So my point here would be, to start down, let's get the right leg twisting in, like you have said, but maybe focus a little more down here and get that knee to feel like it's rotating, moving less forward and more immediately toward the heel. So if you look at where the pressure goes when you move, it's laterally in the foot. It seems like it moves first into the front part of the foot and then goes back into the heel. I think we need to get back there a little quicker. Now, here's another picture. So again, with Charlie, you do see a little forward movement, right? He straightens his right leg here a little bit more than most, but once he gets moving, see, there's another not so fast opening, but watch the left leg now. So by the time he hits the ball, look how much left leg you see. So even though it seems a little slow, he's got that rotation up in the top of the legs and in the knees, that he gets the left leg back under. So when you think about where that left hip joint is and where that left knee joint is, if the left knee is more underneath the hip, then you can drive it more upward. So if we go back and look at your down the line, I'd say in the backswing, your fight is to keep your angle inward on the left side, while you try to deepen the right. Don't let the left go poking forward as much. And if the heel comes up, which is also an option, it should come up where just the back of the heel comes up and you're on the inside edge of the ball of the foot. And then in the forward swing, everything is going to stay back and rotate a little bit harder, and we're going to try to get this left knee here more back over this way. So another way to look at this would be that the upper left leg, the knee and the upper left leg are too flexed. But they're too flexed in this direction, they're too flexed in front of you. So we've got to try to get that upper left leg back behind you so that the knee can be more underneath the hip, and then you can use the leg to push up a little bit harder. All right.